Hey Dave, we just got to talk to Blake, and he's been among a bunch of pitchers who have complimented the job that Pryor and McGinnis and that whole pitching group has been able to do. I'm just curious now, with just a month left of the season, almost more than halfway through, what you've thought of how that group's kind of come together this year.
Well, the bullpen itself has come together fantastic. And as far as the coaches, this is Connor's first year in professional baseball. He's really done a great job of kind of learning on the fly. He's worked well with Mark and Bardo and Danny Lehman, all those guys with the game planning, the pitch, characteristics and kind of delivery mechanics, all that stuff. I think Blake has really thrived. It's only going to get better. And also with the training staff, I think with those guys in the bullpen have done a fantastic job.
Next question is from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead, Alana.
Dave, good afternoon. With the trade of Ross to Toronto, what are you envisioning in this final stretch of the regular season into the postseason as being the five guys that you're going to for your rotation?
Yeah, I think in no particular order, Clayton, Walker, Julio, Dustin, and Tony. Today we're going to activate Alex Wood, and he'll be in the pen. And so, role in the pen to be determined, but I see him, going, 1 to 3 innings, getting left and right out. But as far as kind of right now for the next couple weeks, I see that's kind of where we're going to be.
How did you decide that it was best for Alex to be in the bullpen? Is that just based on usage, obviously the calendar with, just not having him stretched out where he needs to be?
I think that's certainly part of it. You look at his arm and not feeling great, and you're looking at how much time we do have to build up to the 5 or 6 and 90. It's just really going to be, that number would be hard to get to. So in talking to Alex, just understanding the roster and his upside to potentially help us on the active roster was going to be in the bullpen, and he totally got it, and he's all on board.
So he's, maybe a long man, if you will, against lefties and righties, 2-3 inning type of guy?
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting is now, you look at length as 2 or 3 innings, but I certainly see that's kind of what his role would be. Yeah.
Okay. And then Walker Buehler, as far as him being activated off the IL, when do you anticipate that being, and where do you see him penciling in for that next start?
Yeah. So with Walker, I think everything's been going really well with that blister, and the plan is for him to start tomorrow and then push Clayton back a day to start on Thursday.
Okay. And with Walker, my last question for you, sir, what fingers was it that were bothering him as far as that blister, and what pitches did it affect as far as him not being able to use those effectively?
I think it was obviously the right hand, and I think it was his right index finger, where, it's not maybe as important as the middle finger where you're talking about spinning, and that's the last part of the finger that touches the baseball, but still the index finger still is pivotal. And it's more of just because of that, I think it's more of his entire mix, not specific to one pitch that it would affect.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
Got it.
Next question is from Eric Steven. Go ahead, Eric.
Dave, I guess back to the rotation a little bit. You talked earlier about once the season sort of got down to the stretch, you would, maybe stick to that 5-man. And is it also time where starters might start going deeper into games, or is that just sort of a game-by-game basis?
I think that's the hope, Eric. It is game by game because you're still trying to win a baseball game. And, Tony, for example, threw 30-something pitches in 1 inning. So could he have gone to the 4th inning? Certainly. But I think that, I expect Julio to be more efficient. Dustin the same way. I think Clayton's done a great job going deeper into games. I expect Walker to do that. So I think each game, that's the goal. But you still got to manage these guys. But having their, a little bit more of a foundation, getting through the first month of the season, I think was important for everyone. And then, I'll just manage accordingly.
What's the plan for Edwin Rios?
Yeah. So, right now we're trying to, make a decision on Justin. He obviously, I think it was that Friday game came out because of the stolen base. And so we're going to kind of run him through some tests right now. So Eddie's ready and eager. So obviously we'll make that decision a little bit closer to game time, but hopefully sooner than later.
So if Rios is activated today, it might be for Turner, but otherwise you might have to wait.
Otherwise, we got to kind of think through some things, but that's part of having a roster with a lot of depth.
Thanks.
Next question from Mark Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, if this were any other season, I know the difficulties of traveling and the pandemic and all that. Would you guys have just put Justin on the IL over the weekend, or is it just difficult to have somebody go to Texas and kind of replace him and all that?
Yeah, I think it was one of those, and just knowing we had enough coverage, and again, the DH has really helped that as far as not needing that extra position player on the bench to feel like you can get through a game and not be exposed. But yeah, with the off day and getting back here and trying to get somebody there, and we really didn't know where Justin was at, 1-2 days out. We wanted to kind of let it see how it played out.
And Blake trying to just talk to us, and his ground ball rates through the roof. He hasn't a lot of home run or even a barrel ball in play. Well, just what are you seeing from him this season? Is he the bounce back? Is this the bounce back you guys expected? When you guys signed him?
Yeah, I mean, even getting Blake, knowing the player, the person, the skill set, there's obviously a lot of upside. And I still think there's a lot of upside going forward this season for us with Blake. I just think that continuing to pound the strike zone, get strike one, and left-handed hitters in particular, the stuff is as good as anybody in baseball. So obviously, once you get strike one, you can really have your way with hitters.
Is that maybe what you think? Maybe his swing and miss rate can go up a little bit, or is even his K rate?
I think the swing and miss. I think the strikeout rate. I think the pitch efficiency will go up if he can do that.
And just one last thing. Today, there was news out of Miami that Isan Diaz, who opted back in and got cleared. Are you guys moving forward thinking that David Price has no chance of coming back, or is that still a possibility?
I think anything's possible, but I've had different text threads, messages with David, and nothing like that came up. Certainly that's his decision, but I really truthfully don't know where he's at as far as, where his arm is at. So, that's his decision. And if he ever makes that decision, then obviously that'd be a conversation.
Thank you.
Yep.
One more question from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Actually, two. Dave, with Justin Turner, what's the likelihood he goes through this pregame workout and plays tonight? Or is it more likely he goes to the
no, that's the likelihood of him playing tonight, or probably zero. But again, to have him on the roster, if we can see out with the training staff and with Justin to feel that, it's a couple days and we can get him back in there, then that's a different conversation. But if we don't feel that way, then it's sort of a no-brainer to, be responsible, take care of him, and get him ready when he's 100% ready to go.
And with Alex Wood, during his one start, his velocity dropped significantly, and he talked about his arm slot having changed with the shoulder pain. Has he got the velocity back? Do the analytics show that the arm slot has returned?
You know what, Bill? I do know that, and that was kind of a result of his arm not feeling strong and healthy. I do know he feels healthy now, but I don't know if he decided to raise his arm slot back up. And the reports that I got, the velocity is kind of right around 90, 92, sitting at 91. So as long as he's there, executing pitches, spinning the baseball with his change, then he's going to get major league hitters out.
And how will you be able to use him out of the bullpen because of the shoulder and maybe multi innings? Is he a guy you're only going to use one every 3 days or something?
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of contingent on how much he gives us in that particular outing. Saturday, he threw, I think, 3 innings. So, ideally, we'll give him another day, and he'll be back online on Wednesday. And then after that, it's kind of all depends on his usage in the game.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep, you got it.
All right. This is the final question from Juan Rizzo. Go ahead, Juan.
I apologize. Just to clarify, with Walker Buehler, each pitch stresses skin differently. So I just want to make sure, does it hurt him on all of them, or is it more of a curveball blister, slider blister, fastball blister, or everything blister?
Yeah, I don't know what particular pitch or type of pitch that led to the blister. And Walker, this is something that's very new to him. He's never had to deal with the blister, so it's really an unknown.
Okay.
And I don't think it's specific to one pitcher. And it's not a pain thing. It's just one of those things that the skin starts to kind of come apart, or you get that blister, and once it gets to the sensitive part, then it can kind of get into a bad place. So we wanted to combat that, and right now it's kind of back to normal. So we're confident that any pitch that he throws and going deep into a game, it shouldn't be compromised.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep, you got it.
Thanks, Dave.